And welcome to the No Assembly Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. And now your host, Romina Bob Squarepants. And now your second host, Audrey Ember, the living meme. And of course, your final host, the Dark Lord of your beloved kingdom, Roberto Blake. Welcome to the No Assembly Required podcast, where we talk about nothing. Today's topic is the best version of the apocalypse. Are we living our best doom now? Are we living our best doom now, ladies? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I was going to ask, is this hypothetical or are we just talking about
No.
No, but I think that it is a very timely and relevant topic.
I think plague is probably one of the worst.
Okay.
Apocalypse. Because you can't really do anything.
I
Right,
mean,
what kind of
clearly
plague,
you
though?
can if you look at how people have handled this.
I mean, ordinary people are pretty
Clearly
bad
you
at handling
can.
they're
Again,
just
it's the
bad at
ordinary
it.
people. They're the problem.
it. Yeah, that's true.
No, but go
It's
on.
not a
Continue
very
the thought.
exciting. It's not a very exciting apocalypse. At
So
least with zombies or
the
something.
plague is
it'd be
not
more-
exciting.
Yeah. The plague, it just sucks because the way to fight it is by doing nothing, or by staying alone, which is boring. At least with zombies, it's more entertaining.
Look, during the plague, you can just Netflix.
Zombies
You
are
can
a
just
plague,
Netflix and
though.
chill your way through the plague. You can just Netflix and chill your way through the plague.
I know it's boring. At least if we're gonna have an apocalypse, at least give us zombies. It has, or aliens or something. You know?
Look, the only good side about a zombie apocalypse is that I can just flip the sociopath switch and go to town.
Oh
All
no.
right, all right, but hear me out on this. Technically, the virus or the plague is an alien, right?
Oh my god.
It's an alien to our bodies. So, can you not say, oh, I'm sorry, Audrey, that you wanted your little stereotypical green men
Yes.
from outer space?
No, we don't no. It's not green men. It's the Greys. You know.
All right,
it's
she doesn't know about the Greys.
the Greys. Yeah, it's the Greys you got to worry about.
She doesn't know about the Greys. She wants little green men with big black eyes.
No. That's not
No?
what I'm saying.
All right,
No.
okay. Describe
It could be
the
anything.
aliens
It's not
to us.
plague-like things.
Audrey, I want you
I don't know.
to use your imagination. Did you not play pretend as a child?
Honestly, have you seen, what was it that I saw
Audrey,
the other day? What?
Audrey, I'm going to need you to play pretend for a second. And what are you looking up right now?
Someone said, I saw this picture of an animal without fur and it looked like an alien.
Huh.
I'm trying to find
Interesting.
it.
Oh, I know what it is. You want me to tell you?
What?
It's a couple owls in the attic.
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my
So-
god, the owls.
Yeah.
Dude,
those guys
that's, we should be invaded by that.
Have you
By a bunch
seen
of naked
the
owls?
fourth kind?
Huh?
The fourth kind.
Close Encounters of the. No, wait. Was it Close
No.
Encounters of the Third?
No.
I don't know
The
that I've
fourth
seen.
kind.
I don't think I have.
With Mila Jovovich.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's everybody's homework. It's research.
I mean, I've seen all the Resident Evils.
I mean, once you watch it, Audrey, you're
Mila
gonna be
Jovovich
like,
was in all the Resident Evils, right?
yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
So, Audrey, case in point, we're gonna go back. Audrey, I want you to use your imagination for a second, and they can't be owls, all right?
Why not? It looks
Because
pretty
it's been
alien.
done. All right, you watch the fourth kind. It's been done.
Okay.
So I want you to describe to me right now, Audrey. They just bust down your door right now after landing on your roof. What do the aliens look like?
I don't know. I'm still stuck on the naked owls. Maybe just 5 times bigger or something.
Giant owls? Is that what's
Yes.
gonna bust through your door?
I'll tell you what they can't
Giant
be.
owls?
They can't.
They're,
They
really
can't be
smart.
those. They can't be those
have
damn
hands.
xenomorphs from Alien. They can't be the damn xenomorphs from Alien. Because
No.
if that's the case, the Predators just need to come down and nuke everything. And the Predators are the guardians of the Earth, honestly.
See, look, Chris from the chat says it's only entertaining until the zombies catch you.
No.
And he's got a point.
The zombies
because-
don't catch me, I catch them.
All right. Well, Roberto aside, but Audrey wants a little bit of entertainment.
if we're gonna have an apocalypse, right? At least give
You mean when?
like give the individuals a chance to like do their own thing. Like plague sucks because you have to be stuck inside.
So you get your own apocalypse. You get your own version of the apocalypse. Is that what we're
No,
doing?
it's just so that you have like a chance to actually do something yourself. That's what I like.
She
know?
wants
Like,
she
playing
wants
you're
the
stuck.
opportunity
Like,
to fight.
You get sick, you're done. Like that's
She wants the opportunity to
Yes.
fight as an individual, as
Well, if it's
opposed to sitting
aliens,
and
you-
waiting for the government to take care
Well,
of
if
us.
it's aliens, you definitely don't get to fight because you just die.
I
Like,
mean,
you die to the aliens. Let's be real. The aliens come from Independence Day. We don't marshal some great defense. We don't rally. We just fucking roll and die. If the aliens
Sure.
from Independence Day and Independence Day aliens come, we're all done here. It's a wrap. Like wrap them up, kids, and send them off to go because they're done. Like that's
Now,
just,
I have a question.
game over.
So, would you say that the world of Planet of the Apes is that considered an apocalypse?
Yes.
Okay. Did that not stem from
A plague? Yeah.
I mean, kind of
Yeah.
in a way. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
the freaking.
It was
Black Plague
multiple
or
things. It
anything,
was a
but-
plague, and then the plague led to infighting, and then the apes rose up, and yeah.
Right.
But yeah. But
I
here's
mean,
the
I don't
thing.
know. What
Are we down for who's down for Planet of the Apes as their apocalypse?
I'm
I
okay
feel like
with
I have
that.
other preferences.
Wow. What do you?
I mean, I prefer
Wow.
Planet of the Apes to zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll fight some intelligent apes. I'll go down with that.
I feel like
yes,
that probably be
Terminators
one of
and
the
Apocalypse.
best case scenarios.
Huh?
No, so at least
What-
there's like a chance against intelligent apes.
Oh yeah, that's a good scenario for me. It's like, all right, I'm one of the human survivors from whatever virus it was, and it's us versus the apes. I'm good with this.
Well, okay. I think we need to establish, because the Matrix. So for those of you who are listening, we record this podcast live on YouTube. By the way, you should come check us out, youtube.com/noassemblypod, and subscribe to us. We do this live every single Thursday at 8 p.m. ish.
And if you're watching now, smash that like button for the YouTube
Smash
algorithm.
the like button. Or don't. You can just lick it lightly if you want.
No, you have to smash it.
All right. Well,
Don't be gentle.
Not everyone needs to be violent, Roberto.
Don't be gentle, just smash it.
So, someone in the chat just said the Matrix. They mentioned the Matrix, and so there's as far as like genres are concerned, we have apocalypse, we have post-apocalypse, and we have dystopian. I feel like the Matrix falls under dystopian because although it takes place in a world after the world that we know has fallen and basically built up into a new world. So in a way it is post-apocalyptic, but it is so far removed
That it is
from
dystopian.
us that it is dystopian because it's set up like a utopia and ends up not being that. So I think that's kind of, I don't consider the Matrix.
So the Matrix is dystopian.
Apocalypse.
I mean, it depends on where in the timeline of the world of the Matrix you are. It depends on where in the timeline. So that's an interesting argument. Even within the Matrix itself, they had an apocalypse in the conflagration between Agent Smith and Neo.
Right.
So it depends on how from a certain point of view, as one would like to say.
Well, I think it crosses. They do cross. The line is blurred sometimes.
That's the entire thesis of the Matrix.
But, I don't know. That's just how I feel. I don't consider the Matrix an apocalypse. I feel like It's more dystopian to me. That's my own personal opinion.
What about
But-
Terminator? It's where in the timeline, though, right?
Yeah, I
And
mean
which
that's a tough one
timeline?
too.
And which
Right.
timeline?
So like I'm basing it off of like so for the Matrix, obviously there's a lot to that universe in particular. But I'm basing it solely on the first Matrix. And that's I'm just saying the Matrix, right? So but going back to real life here.
Hypothetical
Given the choice
real
between
life.
zombies and this
Zombies,
is real life.
plagues,
Zombies.
robot uprisings,
Right,
alien
aliens.
invaders.
Zombies actually happen.
Owl
though. I don't
aliens.
think so.
And the thing is, I think an intelligent ape, Planet of the Apes thing is on the table. Apes
Right.
just entered into the bronze age. They started crafting tools and weapons just now.
Right.
Maybe
And
we'll
they're
be
also
around
breaking
like
into labs and stealing coronavirus samples.
This is exactly the plot of Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
Dawn? Was it Rise or Dawn that I'm thinking? Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Well, it's Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And
Sure.
then Dawn.
Where the virus starts, it's Rise,
It's
right?
Rise. It's the
Okay.
very first one.
So yeah, the reason Rise happened was because of one of the apes got a canister of some virus and infected people in an airport.
Right. What do you think about that, Audrey? I
What?
saw your eyes get real big.
So like we're literally
didn't
set up.
remember that.
Wait, your name
perfectly.
is not Audrey, Roberto.
Oh, I was just finishing the sentence. That's all.
All right, what do you think about that, Audrey?
No, I didn't remember that was how Planet of the Apes started. But now that you mention that, that's pretty crazy. That literally
Are you
happened,
scared now?
kind of.
Are you scared?
I think we have bigger problems. I think we're fine for now.
That's what
Unless
they
there's, like, a
thought
secret
too,
society.
and that's
No.
why it went sideways.
Yeah.
They thought they had bigger problems, and that's why it went sideways.
And they thought they had control. Also,
Do you
the
think
other
the ones
half
that
of
are
it.
at zoos are just acting? They're like
Oh,
pretending.
Audrey.
They're like pretending to like build tools for the first time just so that we think they're really behind, but actually they live like somewhere and they're pairing.
Or they're just taking advantage of us and letting us do everything for them so they can just chill.
They started Corona on purpose.
Oh my gosh. Is this happening right now?
Boom, boom, boom. Conspiracy. The truth is out there. Boom,
Wow.
boom,
Well, you heard it here,
boom,
folks, from
If we
our
disappear
from
in
our
the
own
next couple
conspiracy
days,
theorist,
then you know why.
Audrey.
I think this is very probable.
This is fascinating. Now, this is fascinating coming from Audrey, who I don't quite peg as a conspiracy theorist.
Oh yeah.
I guess we can all be we all make our mistakes.
Okay.
So tell us, Audrey, what other conspiracy theories do you have? Because it sounds like you got some hidden
I
under
don't know,
your
dude.
sleeve.
I don't know. I mean, I think aliens are real, but I feel like a lot of people agree with
Well,
that
we've
now.
already established.
Yeah,
that.
we've
Yeah,
established
very
that they are
confident.
real.
Are they the best version of the apocalypse for us? I mean, do the aliens come down and kill us quickly with their by destroying all of our major cities, and do we get a quick, sweet, merciful death, or is it or do they have some other more nefarious, more painful version of the apocalypse that we can experience? Because the thing is, if you just want a quick, painless death in the apocalypse, I think aliens or an asteroid are probably your best bet.
All right.
Assuming they just wipe us out. Because
I
then
think
they
they
would
could
do
enslave us, or they could, like, worse, it could be xenomorphs. It could be body horror. So, it's that.
What?
Yeah, body horror. It's
I
like,
don't know that.
you just pop out your chest.
Oh no.
Yeah. Do you know about the chest bursters, Audrey?
I'm not
The
very
chest-
familiar.
The chest
The xenomorphs from aliens,
bursters?
like,
The
That
chest
sounds absolutely
bursters.
terrible.
like,
I
yeah.
don't know
Okay.
what that is, and I don't think I want to look it up.
Audrey, yeah, don't look it up. Don't look it up, Audrey. You'll get to it once you watch Alien.
Nightmare fuel. Nightmare fuel.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Ooh, this is a good question. All right, this is from the chat. Does Audrey believe that we landed on the moon?
Yes.
Yes, we landed on the moon. Yes, you believe we landed on the moon.
Yeah, we
both.
I think I'm pretty sure we landed on the moon.
Why would they lie about that? Like, why?
But here's the thing.
Because Stanley Kubrick got paid to. Never mind.
We don't go back to the moon because it's an alien outpost. We don't go back to the moon. Think about it. We're trying to get to Mars.
Are we gonna go back soon and put like a station up there? Elon Musk?
They say that, but I'll believe it when I see it.
I think we're going for Mars.
Like, yeah.
No, but the moon's like the halfway point.
But we could have. No, it's not. It's more than halfway.
It's not halfway.
It's a pit stop. It's a pit stop.
But here's the thing. We've had all this great technology since the last time we went to the moon. We had all this great technology. We had all these advancements, and we never went back. And we've clearly got the money, and we've spent on other things. And, like, it's not that, for all the other stuff we've done, it's not that difficult. So what is it about going to the moon that we keep not doing it? What's up there? What's on the dark side of the moon? Or what's even, like, what's there? And the thing is, it's probably, at least according to the astronauts who've been, it's because we went there and they were kind of chilling and like, what you doing? What you doing? And it's because it's like, if you're aliens, you're like, what the hell are these primates doing with nuclear, fusion here? What are they doing with fission weapons? Like what are they doing? And you notice that like a lot of the alien abduction stories and a lot of the alien visitation stories that started happening after we started messing with nukes started happening right around then. So we go up to the moon and we do the dog and pony show. We wave the flag and they're there scoping us out like, all right, what you doing here? And so we don't go back there because now it'd be a lot harder to contain the secret. The aliens are right up there. The moon is the observatory. We're in a freaking wildlife preserve or a prison planet. They're just sitting out there chilling in the cut watching us. Just waiting.
I feel like someone would have seen them though.
Plenty of people have seen them, Audrey. Plenty of people have seen them, Audrey.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like out of all the odds of places for there to be other living stuff, the moon just...
They're just chilling there. It's like somebody sitting at the border just in a tower. It's like...
Yeah, but the odds of there being like two living intelligent species on the two planets right next to each other is they're there. No, it's an outpost for them. It's not where they really reside. It's just that it's like you send some jackhole off to Siberia on assignment and everything because he got demoted, and that's the deal. The moon's just
like,
keep an eye on us.
The moon's Siberia, like we're like the backwater shithole planet in the galaxy. Yeah, they're like, go keep an eye on those country bumpkins before they do something stupid.
All right, now I'm gonna throw this out here. As far as the apocalypse, what about the pod people?
Oh, that's the worst because we lose our individuality.
Oh, okay.
Just kill us.
Is it really that different from... I mean, it's kind of like a combination of all of them, right? It's an alien species invasion. It's a plague.
Well, I mean, it's all the mind fucking that you have to worry about.
And it's zombies.
Well, no, it's worse because you're trapped in your own head and they can torture you with your memories all they want. Or even your nightmares or your delusions, because that's how they'd break your will and stay in control.
Right, Audrey, it's the invasion of the body snatchers.
Yeah, I looked it up, and it has 2 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
That's so ridiculous.
Impossible. Which one? What year? What year?
I don't know. I just looked up pod people.
If it's the old original, there's no way the old original has that. It must be some stupid reboot.
Did you look up Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
No.
All right, that's what you got to look up. Roberto, why are you shuffling cards?
I don't know.
Is it 1978?
While we're recording a podcast?
I don't know. It's awfully. It's like it's soothing. I don't know.
All right. Well, let's hope that our listeners find it soothing as well. For those of you
Is
who
the
are
audio
wondering
really?
what that
Is it really
scratching
picking?
noise is.
Is it really picking up the audio?
Yeah.
All right,
I've been
I
hearing
apologize.
it this whole
apo-
time.
I'm sorry about that. No, it's like it was a compulsive. No, it's one of those compulsive things.
No, it's
like,
great. I think it's fine as long as you say at the beginning, "Hey, I'm going to be shuffling cards throughout this
No,
whole
it's
thing."
like playing with
so
a fidget
people
spinner.
aren't
It's
wondering
just
what that noise is. You know what I'm saying?
it's like it's just like for me, it's just like a fidget spinner. It's a tactile thing. It's
Oh man, you know what? I don't know where my fidget spinner went. And I'm a little sad because I had a really high quality one because my friend got sent a bunch.
they work, you know.
Yeah. Well, I got a really nice one. Like it had like the bearings were really heavy. Like it wasn't one of those like flimsy swag
Yeah, yeah.
ones. It was nice.
I had
because
one
my
from
friend
Lassie,
was
yeah.
sent some, and so he did like a sponsored video, and
Mm-hmm.
so like he had a crap ton of them just laying around in his living room, and he's like, "Here, take one." So I did, and that was my one and only fidget spinner. And now I don't even know where it went. I have no idea where it went, and
Yeah,
I had
I
it
hate
in
when
my
that
bag.
happens.
I had it on my bag, like it was in my work bag that I took with me that I take with me to cafes and stuff. So I have no idea. I don't know if maybe I left it somewhere, or maybe someone stole it. I have no idea. Or maybe from like moving and stuff. Who knows where it ended
Probably
up.
the moving.
Yeah. It sucks though, because it's like it was a good one, you know.
Yeah.
But I also don't care enough to go buy one. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what
Well,
hurts.
if anyone wants to know what to buy Romina for birthdays and holidays, you now have a clue.
Only if it's a good one. I don't want one of those rinky
A quality
dinky
fidget spinner.
Amazon
ladies
Basics
and- quality
fidget spinner.
I'm now going to go and I'm just going to send you a box of Amazon Basics fidget spinners.
Does Amazon Basics even have fidget spinners?
I have no idea. They probably
I'm
do. They have
curious to
everything.
know now.
Look, why? Look,
They
why
got
wouldn't-
everything.
Yeah, they have everything.
Audrey, did you look up Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Yes, it's not.
Alright.
It's got like 7 or something out.
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
there,
it is.
there we go. That's
Not 2. I don't know what that was.
it's a stupid
don't know what
remake.
that
I'm
was
sure it's
either.
probably a stupid remake.
She's looking at something random.
What about an asteroid hitting the Earth and it's like, hey guys, we know in 10 days an asteroid's gonna hit the Earth. We have no way to fucking stop it. This is the end. Like, how do you feel about that one? You just know when you got 10 days.
I
it's
just wish
asteroid
they
time.
wouldn't tell us. Like, if it's gonna.
Are you kidding? Don't you want to like live YOLO, go YOLO for
I don't
10 days?
understand,
No.
Audrey. First you want to fight, and now you
No.
don't. What?
No, well, if we're all gonna die anyway, like, it doesn't matter. I'd rather just not know. So I don't have to
10
stress
days.
about it for 10 days.
No,
I
10
don't even-
days. I'm going ham. I'm going
Like,
YOLO.
oh my god, we're gonna die for 10 days. Like, I'd
10
rather just
days,
not-
I'm going YOLO. Tell me. I want the countdown. Like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. I'm making 10 days count. I'm living
Right.
living
If
an entire
we're gonna die anyway, then might as well just do all the things, go bungee jumping, do all the stuff.
hang glide, do all
Yeah.
the
I
things.
feel like it would backfire. People would go insane. They'd it'd be bad.
But why does it matter? Does it matter?
No, we
It's
wouldn't
like a
loot
weight.
and steal and kill. We would just like all be like, we're gonna live our best life. We no
Yeah,
violence,
nobody's gonna go buy stuff. Who are they gonna sell it to? What are they
and
gonna do with the
nobody's
money?
gonna be.
Everyone's gonna
I
die.
don't think, aside from like one or two sociopaths, no one's going to go and kill people, and we'll all just deal with the sociopaths the minute they start up with stuff, because we're gonna all just try to live our best lives. We gonna go ahead and we gonna 10 days. It's gonna be Woodstock. It's gonna be free love. It's gonna be like, you know what? Just like party it up. Like, we're all just gonna have a really good damn time. It's like, why are we out of rum? Like,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, now we know what Roberto's gonna be doing.
10 days of like, yep.
10 days of Jack Sparrow.
10 days of Jack Sparrow. I'm Captain Jack Sparrow.
Audrey's like, no.
Savvy.
I'm just gonna be like in my kitchen or like my
Yeah.
living room, just like
Just
oblivious
There's nothing you can do about it. At least
until
no
the
stress.
explosion happens.
No, the last day, I'm having that blowfish sushi. I'm going like, fugu me. Like, I'm just like what? Like, hey, let's roll the dice. Fugu me. Hang gliding. Gonna go surfing.
I feel
Gonna
like-
do.
Couldn't that actually be a problem? Like, what if we do get hit by an asteroid?
There
Like,
is-
what-
Yeah, no,
Well-
that's a problem now. I'm working on a solution.
there is actually there is
Brutal.
actually a movie that this is the premise. Seeking a friend for the end of the world. Did you see that, Roberto?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so it's with Steve Carell, and it's like and Keira Knightley.
Yep.
And Audrey, they announce in the movie, they announce that there's going to be an asteroid that's like
and
everyone's
they tell
going to
you
die.
all the little stories of all the people and stuff like that. I loved how the one dude was calling everybody that was a customer of the electric company and tell them that we're going to keep the power running right to the end. You don't got to worry about that. And we're here for you. And like, I loved the earnestness of that. That was so
it was
touching.
a really nice, wholesome movie. Too bad it's not reflective of real life, but
I think it is, because most people went out just like drinking and fucking. And I'm like, yep, that's about right. That's what most people did. There wasn't as much looting and rioting so much as there was any looting and rioting because people kind of just gave up and said, "Oh God, what do I care about? Who do I care about? What did I miss out on?" They just went and everyone did their bucket list. Everyone did their bucket list. That's all.
See,
everyone
all right. So this is a good idea then. Then what we need to do
is announce the end of the world.
Fake the end of the world. End of the world. Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but or we could really go ham with it. We could either announce the end of the world.
End the world?
No, we could convince people. We can convince people of an existential threat that's so massive that requires all hands on deck, just like Ozymandias did in Watchmen. In the comics, though, it wasn't, and in the TV series, it wasn't Dr. Manhattan. It was a giant telepathic squid that, telepathically just killed people and on sight. And it was supposed to be an extra dimensional incursion, but it's based off an episode of the Twilight Zone called The Architects of Fear, where they use plastic surgery to basically turn a man into a monstrosity and make him a mutant, and they kill him to fake an alien invader, an invasion of he's the first of the vanguard, and humanity has to stand united to end. So it's why it's called The Architects of Fear. It's these scientists engineered a giant scam to use fear to force unity to avert nuclear war. And that's also the same plot in Watchmen, except Ozymandias, well, one, I'm not suggesting we create a mutant monster that psychically kills 3 million people to sell the story. I am saying that maybe you fake some aliens and you convince everybody that all hands on deck humanity, and we're all humans. That's the threat. That's the enemy. We have a great other now. You have a great other. So you use the great other to unite humanity in its sameness.
See, and that's why I don't think it's a bad idea, because Chris in the chat, he mentions that the worst thing about this scenario is that everybody's going to be doing YOLO and living it up in the city. But then what if the asteroid changes course and then misses us? And then everyone's
we experienced harmony, and why would we go back?
Right. We experienced carpe diem, basically.
Let's keep this party going.
Right. Yeah. I mean, really, would it really be that bad?
Some people would literally just opt to keep the party going and would not allow it to be stopped, for real. People would be like...
Right. I think also it might change people's perspectives and realize that it might actually turn us into quasi-nihilists.
Look at what Corona did Look at what Corona did to us. Look at what Corona did to us. Think about it. It wasn't even a full-scale apocalypse. Look at what Corona and the lockdown did to us. It didn't have only negative effects. It psychologically, in some ways, showed us what we can do without. It also showed us the best and worst of ourselves in terms of thoughtfulness and conscientiousness. It showed us the best and worst of ourselves in terms of how we interpret work and the value of it, and it showed us
the most we can tolerate from our spouses.
That too, or kids or whoever it is, or it also showed us the limits of our current thoughts about the economy. It showed us the limits of we thought that if something bad happens to us, that something bad happens to everybody. And it's not so much. Well, the problem is we're learning the wrong lesson from that. We're not asking ourselves, well, why is that? But I digress. My point is that you'd be surprised what happens when we get an idea in our head and we commit to this is the way things are and they're going to be. Because we cut a lot of stuff out of our lives during Corona that we're not gonna, like, we missed them at first, and now we're gonna probably be like, no, I can deal with the alternative, or maybe the alternative's even preferable. Look at all these companies who said, yeah, we're just gonna, like, allow people to work from home remotely forever, so we're good here. Like, look at, like, when you realize, oh crap, stuff's still getting done without us putting a boot on someone's neck or staring over their shoulder, and we're not having to pay electricity and shit. Like, this is amazing. Like, why would we go back to the office? Like, cut the fucking budget, cut the rents, and, like, let people work from home. We're good here. You know, like, we changed our culture the minute that we didn't have a choice. And then we decided, oh, it's not, change isn't so bad.
Right. Yeah. I think it also kind of put into perspective the fragility of not only ourselves, but certain systems that we have in place, and maybe the things we take for granted, or we have taken for granted. So overall, I mean, I'd say, I mean, clearly, whenever we do watch something like, one of these movies or read these books, one of the biggest key takeaways are the characters learning not only about survival and what's important to them and what they can tolerate, but also
the fragility of the status quo.
Right, exactly. And I think that's definitely reflective of...
Do we come out of an apocalypse? Think about it like this. Let's talk post-apocalypse. What apocalypse doesn't kill us but makes us stronger, advances us as a species? Which version of the apocalypse do we come out better from?
Did you just say Corona?
I mean, I hope so.
All right, but
like most of them you would, unless if it involves killing like a bunch of people.
If there is an apocalypse that does kill us, okay. If there is an apocalypse, it is going to kill us.
Not necessarily. Because remember, there's a such thing as post-apocalypse. Yeah, well, not all of us, but post-apocalypse. What is the species, what version of the apocalypse does the species come out stronger for having survived?
Right, okay, so there are...
Or strongest, or is better probably the...
There are a couple scenarios.
Yeah.
28 Days Later, I think, was a good...
Did you watch 28 Months Later?
28 Weeks Later?
20 days. No, it's 28 days, 28 weeks, later. 28 months.
No, because Danny Boyle is the only creator of this that I believe in. I falled off after 28 Weeks Later.
Okay.
So does that mean that it's not, that it strays away from the original first one?
I don't remember, to be honest. Okay. So maybe it's not relevant because I don't remember.
So I guess, I mean, well, that one is kind of, again, it is an infection.
So we get the antibodies.
And it comes from apes. Lab apes. In 28 Days Later.
Again, so it's back to, it's always back to the damn apes.
It's back to the apes, man.
Damn dirty apes.
They're going to do it. They're the ones who are throwing the meteors at us.
Wouldn't it be dope if it was a space gorilla somewhere and that's where all the damn asteroids...
like just Donkey Kong, just throwing asteroids at us.
Yep.
Oh my god!
Ran out of barrels.
Ran out of barrels.
Ran out of barrels.
I'm just imagining. That's why we haven't been back to the moon. Because that's where he is. That's his station.
Wham!
He's
DK.
on the moon.
DK.
Throwing
Pwn.
barrels at us.
DK. Pwn. Like, yeah.
All right. But jokes
DK
aside.
For the lose. DK for the lose.
Where do we come out stronger?
There's too many different
variables.
Yeah.
Here's the
I
one
feel
where
like we do come out stronger in most scenarios, though.
I don't think we come out stronger in a Hellmouth apocalypse where like we fight the demons even if we kill them or send them back to hell. I don't think in a Buffy the Vampire Slayer Hellmouth apocalypse as a species, I don't know that we come out. We kind of come out more violent, aggressive, and probably more nihilistic or cynical from that one.
I don't know. I feel like we'd still learn.
I think, well,
I think too many people.
If there's too much, if we're being defeated too much.
I mean, if we survive that and we win and we seal back up hell, we'd and we did it ourselves. We'd kind of be like, so where was heaven right now? Like, where was heaven in this? Like, that'd be. I'm saying Buffy the Vampire Slayer's version of it. We'd be like, okay, so where was heaven in this war that we fought ourselves and won? And I don't think we'd be better for that. I think we'd be very angry, and we'd be very violent, and we'd be very good at killing things, and I don't know.
So it sounds like if the apocalypse affects individuals or people close to us, things that are relatable to us, then there's a higher probability of us coming out of it stronger.
I mean, that's what an apocalypse is, right?
Elaborate.
So, because you're saying, like, obviously, like, if we have demons or whatever, like, if we have something that is so out of this world, but also very dark,
we'll unite and we'll destroy that, and we'll all be about sealing hell and making sure we keep hell sealed and all that. But then you also just have to remember, at that point, we have a very negative, angry, violent populace that is very versed in like demonology and sorcery at that point, and is also then having the existential crisis of like, and where was heaven in this fight? Like, what happened? Why have you forsaken us? Like we'd kind of like, and that would, I don't know how good for society building and civilization. I mean, we'd be warriors and we'd be wizards and we'd be really good at that stuff, but day to day, I don't know how functional we are, because whoever survives that might be human in name only by that point.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So you're saying that, like, if we are presented with that scenario, then it is a lot more difficult for us to come out stronger as from that.
We'll be too psychologically damaged, I think, to be...
Right, exactly. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if we are in a scenario where it is directly affecting, like, the people that we know, where it's like, you know, War of the Worlds, it's the aliens against us.
Yes.
But once we defeat the aliens, there is no... I mean, it feels like that's your best case
scenario, because we get the Federation out of that.
Right, we do.
Because we get the technology from killing and defeating the alien aggressors. We get their technology. We've united the planet in common cause, and now we are aware of existential threats. We have a reason to stay united because of future threats. We have a world to rebuild and the means to do it.
Right. Now, so I'm just going to go back to 28 Days Later. In 28 Days Later, the idea is that, I don't want to spoil it completely in case Audrey wants to watch it, but in 28 Days Later, there is this hypothesis where maybe England is the only one who's being affected by all this. And they've actually been quarantined, and nobody else in the world has gone. Everybody else is going through their life. People are flying and like doing all that stuff because like they have no, because it's different.
Oh, well, that's Europe. Kind of like how we thought, oh, we're gonna seal off China with this thing, and
right. So now those people who are in England, right? If they've had this experience where they've survived the apocalypse, and maybe as individuals, depending on how their experience was fighting this, they might have come out stronger as individuals, but as people, as like a group, as a whole, and as a country, they might actually be in the same situation that you just described, where they might have a negative outlook on life because they've been quarantined from the rest of the world because they were infected.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So I think there are a lot of variables, and it's hard to really peg like one specific outcome from it because of the fact that,
well, we
like,
just have
if
to
it had been
go
the
down
whole
to what
world,
we think is likely.
right? I mean, if it had been the whole world, then like in 28 Days Later, then I would have said, yeah, sure, everybody's stronger now because like they've all, you know, learned to survive together and like, you know, what's important and all that.
We've got a reason to rebuild society, and we've got
right.
these antibodies.
But because it's
we
just
go all in on healthcare because of it.
But because it just happened in England, this
No
is according
progress.
to just 28 Days Later,
No
then
progress.
it's like, well, what about the rest of the world? Like everybody left us to fend for ourselves here in England.
So England got some
everybody
better
else was-
biotech and genetic tech, and like it's embargoed.
So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different paths to take.
Audrey, what do you think? And what's your best
I
version
think
of it?
you
Because we
lost
covered,
me.
because we covered. Okay, if aliens invade and we survive that and we beat them, we get a almost utopian like situation because we have a reason to unite. There's future invasions on the table, but we also got all this cool technology, and we've got to rebuild. So we're going to stimulate the economy. We got all the reasons for humanity to evolve. Okay, if it's a hellmouth, we're just psychologically all damaged, and we're stronger warrior wizard like things, but we're also very cynical and we're angry at God, and so that's not great for society. It's not going to be a utopia of any kind. It's going to be a dystopia. So that's the net outcome of like a hellmouth version of us surviving. What's one of the apocalypses that we survive, and what's your take on what happens next?
I even think the hell option people would still. It might take some time, but I feel like people would recover.
I mean, yeah, we'd recover, but like, do you think like, how do you like people would recover? But I don't think we go back to anything resembling a normal or resembling progress.
No, I think it'd be different, but I still think we'd progress like forwards.
What would that look like though? In your mind, what would that look like?
It would still be good. I don't know. I feel like. I don't know, like to me it's not that different from if like aliens showed up.
I think the difference with aliens is if it's aliens, we have to go tech and we have to go militarization. We have to go intellectual in terms of our warfare. If it's demons, we get straight barbaric, and we go to if it's demons, then we know that all right, ancient relics, magic, all that's on the table. And so technology is like less of a thing in that scenario, minus
Dude,
automatic
we can all become
weapons.
Harry Potter. That'd be great.
We become like a combination of like, less Harry
Wow,
Potter.
what?
No, less Harry Potter and more John.
What?
Actually, less Harry Potter and more John Constantine.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, it would definitely be more Constantine. There's
It'd
no,
be more John
there's no Harry
Constantine.
Potter here.
We wouldn't be
Hagrid's
John.
not here.
No, we wouldn't be Harry Potter. We'd go more like John Constantine or The Witcher or The Last Witch Hunter with Vin Diesel. We'd go more like straight barbarian-ish type.
Audrey thinks she's gonna show up to Diagon Alley, get her school books.
Yeah. She thinks she's gonna.
Ollivander's gonna give her a wand. This is Audrey's idea of the post
The apocalypse?
Like, what are you, House Hufflepuff?
No, definitely not.
No,
What-
she's Ravenclaw.
We've had.
Oh, you're
Excuse me,
Ravenclaw.
we've
I forgot.
Had this discussion.
I forgot. Are you
I'm
Ravenclaw?
Definitely not a Ravenclaw. Excuse me.
Wow.
Okay,
you don't
so
have
what
to
house are you?
yell
What house are you?
into the microphone, Audrey.
What house are you?
A Gryffindor.
Yes, I took the Pottermore test. Okay?
So I took the Pottermore test. What result do you guys think I got?
Ravenclaw.
I mean, my instinct says Ravenclaw, but I think you might be Slytherin.
I got Gryffindor every time. Every
How many
time.
times did you take it, Roberto?
Multiple times.
What?
And-
How? Why?
To confirm.
You have
like,
to take it multiple times to make sure that it's correct.
Yeah, at Gryffindor. Every time. Gryffindor! The Sorting Hat has decided. Gryffindor! Every time. But here's the thing. Gryffindor is the house closest to Slytherin.
Yeah.
So I have a just
Right.
enough qualities to, like, but I tilt over to Gryffindor every time. In that regard, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of like Harry in that regard, or even, wasn't a Dumbledore Gryffindor?
Yeah.
But he also wanted to, like, literally Dumbledore considered, like, taking over the world.
For a
You
little
recall, for a little bit. His sister had to die before he
Dumbledore-
was like, all right, I'm
Yeah,
gonna chill out.
Dumbledore was a little troublemaker.
He had to have a personal
Romina, which
tragedy
one
to
are
mellow
you?
him out.
Wow. Okay. Don't
bit.
yell.
Romina's a Hufflepuff.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Or Ravenclaw.
I actually did take the test, but I don't remember. And I
you
think I
have to
took
do
it
it.
twice.
Take it. Take
All
it
right,
now.
I'll take it for next time. I'll take it and I'll let you guys know next time.
This is a very. You have to
So,
take it
all
3
right,
times.
next topic next week is the Wizarding World.
The Wizarding World of Audrey Ember.
Yeah, there we go.
No.
That's perfect. That's
No.
it shall be done.
Yes.
This is a very important question. I don't know how you don't know the answer.
Okay, I will know the answer next week, Audrey.
What do
okay?
what do you guys think?
Drop
All right, so
the
robot
attitude.
we defeat the robots in a robot uprising. What happens next?
All right. Wait,
We
what?
go back to normal, but with
We defeat
new
the robots in a
technology.
robot uprising.
Uh-huh.
So
What
it doesn't
happens
go
next?
full on Matrix or Terminator, but we get a robot uprising, but instead of it's
Right.
going full on Terminator where we beat them. We beat the Generation 1 Terminators like in a decisive battle. What happens?
We go back to.
We
whatever
go back
we were
to a
doing
primitive
before.
state and don't use technology for anything.
I don't think we go that far.
I think there'd be a lot of like bans.
We go anti-AI
stuff.
for sure. We go anti-AI for sure. We put
But people
massive
do it
limits
anyway.
on. Huh? We put
People do
massive
it
limits
anyway.
on it. We basically the technology level that we have right now would be what we
yeah,
lock
but all right, but
in.
you
We'd
know
lock
how we
in where
have,
we are.
You know how we have the war on drugs.
Yeah, we'd have the war on tech.
Yeah.
We would limit innovation to this is where we are, this is the extent of it, make do.
It might become
Now-
like political.
We might
It's always-
not
it's
invent
always gonna
shit
be-
anymore. Like we literally might say we're not inventing shit. What we have is good enough if it came to that.
It's always going to get down to that at some point. I mean,
don't know,
even
Well, if it does, money will win.
yeah, hopefully. But I did actually want to present something else to you. So, what about an apocalypse like Children of Men?
What? Wait, what?
So, in Children of Men, all of the women have stopped being able to conceive. So there's no more pregnant women. So basically,
Oh, we start cloning.
well, okay. Well, that's not what was presented in Children of Men, Roberto.
Okay, sorry.
There's no cloning. All right, because it's not going to happen fast enough. We can't develop it fast enough. The generations will die. All
We
right.
teach the
literally
apes
can do
to
it
be like
now.
us.
We literally can do it now.
All right, Roberto. You know,
I got you.
the
Okay,
idea
Children of Men.
behind the apocalypse.
Well,
Is the
isn't that
scenario-
like just the end because there's nothing you can do?
Right, exactly. Because there is, so you've lost all hope. It's kind of like it's a little bit like knowing when the asteroid is gonna hit.
Okay, so
Except
but
it's
the
a lot
scenario is supposed to be
slower.
we survive this. So how do we survive? Did we become immortal or did we decide to just download our consciousness? Because the idea here is we survived it. So Children of Men may not be
in Children of
compatible
Men,
with.
it was just a miracle.
Oh, they got
We
a mirror
have one person
who can conceive.
who birthed a child, and it's the first child that's been born in I don't know how many years.
So that just means that people are going to start giving birth again. That's what that means.
Someone
Right.
in the comments said lab-grown children is the way of the future.
Probably.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for
I
that
mean,
input.
probably if we mess things up enough, because think about it like this. One of the first things I would do as your Dark Lord ruler is one of the things I would do is Project Genesis, and the other thing I do is Project Scribe. These are two of my mandates for literally world conquest, either if I achieve it or if one of my heirs or descendants achieves it, is that you implement a contingency plan that preserves the human race. One of those contingency plans is to have multiple bunker sites manned constantly by robots and generations of volunteers that preside over a massive collection of DNA samples of all of the types of people, and we have the facilities, and we set up cloning and cryostasis, and we do a cycle of this so that there's always the means to repopulate and reboot the human race in the worst case scenario. And we have multiple sites, so we have multiple contingencies for that. So we have Project Genesis, so that we can reseed the Earth, multiple Noah's Arks buried deep enough underground and maintained by a cadre of immortal robots that will be our caretakers and will help preserve us, and will verify that the Earth is habitable again once all the doom is over, right? So you have Project Genesis. You also have Project Scribe. Project Scribe is going to take all the information that exists and all the information on the internet, and robots and machines are going to actually handwrite and print all this out, so we have hard copies of all of the knowledge so that it's preserved. So all the knowledge of the human race will be preserved. We will create a forever human living library, and that's Project Scribe. And that's also going to be buried in the bunkers, and so that we have multiple sites so that the human race continues, but also all of our knowledge is preserved. Boom. Those are two contingency plans that preserve the human race, because I read the book Foundation as a kid.
Wow. Well,
so I've literally prepared for all apocalypses.
So in the movie Mother on
oh my
Netflix.
God, I saw that one.
Netflix, not you saw the one from Netflix, not Mother, like the other movie, not the Oscar. Okay. In that one, there's a robot. Do you want to say what it's about, Audrey?
Well, if I say like what she does, it's spoiling it, because that's like the end.
Is it though?
Because they find out at the end that that's why she was like what she did. Well, okay, without spoiling, like she basically, this robot AI thing, like trains a child from when it's little. It's basically
in a bunker.
Yeah, in a bunker. There's no one else. And she's kind of just training her to be like perfect, basically. Yeah. And I can't really say much more without spoiling.
Okay, I guess because there's
homework. Right. Everybody watches the movie, because I haven't even seen it. So everybody watches the movie. It
comes in like 30 minutes or 40 minutes into the thing. I mean, it's an easy movie to watch. It's not.
All right.
It's not very.
It's not the most incredible thing.
As long as there's no look, as long as there's no body horror, gross out, because
No, there isn't any of that. No, it's just more if you like good like set design, then you might enjoy the movie, because it does have cool sets.
I like
and,
set
props
design.
And stuff.
I'm a big fan of.
But
set
aside
pieces.
from that, it doesn't. It's kind of surface level. I feel like
Aaron had.
Is that a noodle?
Aaron had an interesting point.
What's Aaron's point? The lab-grown children?
Yeah. So, in a situation,
like a great idea.
In a situation like that, though, you get a scenario that they portrayed in an anime called Gundam Seed. Though you have homegrown humans, which would be called naturals, and then you have these genetically modified children and humans that they called coordinators. And so you have a superior version of humans that have a lot of our defects weeded out. And then you have natural-born people who think that they're morally superior because they were born conventionally. There's an inevitable war because of the otherization of that, because of the circumstances of birth. In the Gundam world, usually what happens is genetically modified humans decide that they like space more. So you kind of end up with a war between space noids and Earthers. And so that's usually how Gundam works. It's always the space colonies versus the Earthlings is how it usually plays out. With the colonists believing that their love of space and the cosmos and the stars and all the knowledge that they've unlocked makes them superior to those from the homeland. So it ends up very much kind of being in a way, it's the reverse. In a way, it's like it's because it's always they change who is the oppressor every time they alternate, and usually it's gray lines of like, oh, both sides are actually kind of shit. But it kind of is supposed to, in some ways, be an allegory for the Revolutionary War, which the rest of the world, by the way, calls the War of Insurrection. So that's kind of just like how I see it. Lab grown children would end up probably being a superior version of humanity, at least in terms of their capabilities, and we'd end up going to war with artificials versus naturals.
Yeah, this was actually brought up in an episode of Deep Space Nine that I watched 2 days ago, where it's revealed that the doctor on Deep Space Nine was actually genetically enhanced because he was falling behind in school and in life and all that stuff when he was like under 10 years old. So his parents took him to this place so that they could enhance his genes. And then suddenly his IQ like skyrocketed and he suddenly became best in class. They moved to a new city, got a new identity.
You cheated.
Right. But it was illegal to do. So he could actually lose everything on Deep Space Nine because it was something that
it's like doping in the Olympics. Oh, we're taking all
right,
your medals.
exactly. You can't be in Starfleet if you are genetically enhanced.
Which seems to defeat the whole concept in a way of, well, it's because they're supposed to be meritocratous in the Federation,
right.
But in a way, meritocracy would dictate results. But in his case, the results, he still earned them, he still worked for them, but he had an unnatural advantage is their whole point. But I'm like, so what? Wealth might be an unnatural advantage. Being like, I mean,
sure. Yeah, but I think it's because they mentioned that there was a eugenics war at some point.
That would be why they made it illegal. Makes sense.
Right. Exactly.
So we'd have a eugenics war. I guarantee you, if we go to genetic enhancement, which we probably will,
there's definitely going to be.
We will have a eugenics war. That will be interesting.
Yeah.
Would you guys genetically enhance your kids?
Why not, Audrey? Also, remember we're doing a podcast, so don't just not.
Because flaws are a good thing.
Well, they wouldn't be perfect. They would just be advantaged.
They would still have flaws.
They're raised as humans, after all.
I just don't think it should be allowed because then, it creates disadvantages. Like, just let
so does being born into money. So does being born into money. So does being born in a certain country. So does being born
probably be
a majority.
Like people with money who would be the ones doing that anyway. So just make it even bigger of a divide.
Like, I mean, you do realize that's probably what's like next. I mean, but again, if you could, and if other people like, wouldn't you? Like, I mean, wait. I mean, because we're talking about so I understand if you're saying, oh, that shouldn't be allowed to exist or that shouldn't be legal. But if it is, do you do it? If it's legal, do you do it?
Well, like what type of stuff? Are you saying like physical stuff or actually like
physical, mental?
Okay,
health?
let's say that you know that your child is going to have problems with their legs. The bones in their legs, for whatever reason, are not fully developed, and he's going to have problems and probably have a wheelchair or some kind of
like cerebral palsy or something like that of some kind.
I feel like that's different though.
But if that's the case, the case is they could be disadvantaged or they could be massively advantaged, and you don't have any in between. What do you do?
Okay, but if you did have this and you knew that your child was going to be handicapped, would you mess with his genes in order to give him maybe potentially what you consider a better shot at life, an improved life?
Probably depends. I don't know.
So I guess the real question is, do you believe that someone who is not in a wheelchair is going to have a better life than someone who is in a wheelchair? Because that's really what it comes down to. Because as a parent, if you make that decision, then you're deciding, well, if my kid's in a wheelchair, his life is going to be hard, or he's not going to have a good life. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a bigger question. I feel like
it's a harder road to go.
I think I would only change if it was life-threatening. Like, if it was a disease that was going to kill them in 5 years.
I don't, but here's my thing, though. I don't see it being any better or worse than saying, oh, well, I'm wealthy, so my kids can go to the best schools. My kids can learn martial arts from the time they're 5, so they're never a victim. My child has the best tutors, so they're always ahead. My child had access to technology and a career path. My child could go into the family business and have access to capital and resources and never go to the bank. Normal people don't get to do a lot of those things. And so you wouldn't say, no, I'm going to be rich, but I'm going to throw my kid into the worst school in the hood or something like that. I'm not going to give my kid a nice apartment or whatever if all they can afford is a trailer park, or like you would like no like people don't reasonably and normally do that. If people have the ability to give an advantage, they don't worry about whether or not it's fair to anybody else because everyone else isn't their kid.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking for you. I'm just saying, generally speaking, even if we say, because we're just moving the needle of today's advantage is theoretically money, right? But there's more ways to be advantaged or privileged than money. There's, and there's some you can't do anything about. There's some you can't do anything about, like like being born in the U.S., for example, right?
Yeah.
Or being born healthy. Being born healthy makes you, like I'm trying to avoid using what could be considered ableist language, but I don't really have a lot of outs here. Being born without a physical disability or without a mental or psychological or physiological impairment of any kind, there's like, okay, you're advantaged. What do you do? Poke out your eyes to like make other people feel better? Like, what do you do? Wreck your
I
legs to
don't
make
think
other
that's the
people feel
same though.
like, but not taking
making the
not
decision.
making the most of your advantages because other people don't have them doesn't make their life any better. It just makes yours worse. Not making your life better doesn't make anyone else's life better just because you didn't use your advantages. It just makes your life worse and limits your capacity to do good in the world or to meet your potential. Your life got like, it's kind of like how we say that, like, okay, taking Jeff Bezos not being a billionaire or no one being allowed to be a billionaire doesn't make your life better unless what we're doing is you're saying that we have to take from you, we have to take from someone who has it better to make everybody else's life better. But to do that, you have to be sacrificed and your life has to get worse. And we're deciding for you that limiting your potential and your capabilities, but we're not crippling you, isn't so bad. But we are crippling you for what your normal is. Because if you're a super genius, if you're a super genius and you see the world in like this ridiculous spectrum, and we decide that that's unfair, and that we decide that we have to divvy up the difference of your mental capacity to give everybody else a chance, or we have to average everything out by giving the lowest IQ people some of your superpowers, but you don't get to see the world in that spectrum anymore. We essentially crippled you to make other people's life incrementally better, and we made yours drastically worse because we took away the maximum experience that you were capable of. And I think that's fundamentally wrong.
Now, at what point do we stop though? Because
yeah, I think that's the question. There's definitely a line. I just don't know what that looks like.
It's okay to not know what it looks
like.
Let's
just say like a very basic scenario. Like let's say that everybody has their IQ increased and everybody has at least a 140 IQ now, right? Everybody in the world. Now we've gotten to that point where everybody has at least 140 IQ. But then people are going to want to get to 200, right? So, because now 140 is just average.
I feel like it would never end. People would always want to be better and better and better, and it might become a very slippery slope.
At that point, we become mechas. we just get... Yeah.
Somebody leapfrogs everybody, because that does happen from time to time, and it's just a matter of whether or not they decide to declare themselves a god, and then it depends on what they do. And it depends on whether they declare themselves. It depends on whether they declare themselves, because somebody could leapfrog all of us and then just decide to say, "Screw all y'all, I'm out," and like, we would never know per se, right? Like somebody could unlock all kinds of craziness and decide to then go disconnect from humanity. We decide we don't deserve what the next level of that knowledge, and then they could try to just keep it from us and operate in the shadows for all we know. That seems likely.
I feel like if we tried to perfect everything too much, it would eventually backfire.
Over optimization is real.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. I think once you get started down that path, it wouldn't end, and eventually it would backfire and actually be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day. I don't know.
I agree with you. No, I agree with you. Someone said that basically what I was alluding to, Chris says what I was alluding to was Khan. Yeah, basically somebody would be Khan from Star Trek. Somebody would be Khan at the end of the day. Like, that's likely.
Yeah.
In the scenario you outlined, Romina. That's where that takes us.
Now, so there is a movie about this. It's called Gattaca. It's called Gattaca.
What?
Gattaca. It's before your time.
You don't have to say that every time I mention a movie. I think even 28 Days Later is before her time.
No, it's not.
Is Gattaca good?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Actually, it should be on that list. By the way, have you made any dents on that list? Never mind. I'll ask next episode.
I've been watching some random movies that aren't on the list. Which
Wow.
Is bad.
You should be watching the ones on the list.
I know. I'm gonna get back to it.
All right. Well, now I'm gonna add Gattaca to the list because it is a good one,
It
and I
is
think
the
you might.
list that never ends.
Yes,
It goes on and on, my friend. Romina started making it, not knowing what it was, and will continue making it forever, just because it is the list that doesn't end.
Yeah, I think you would enjoy that one, Audrey, because it poses this very same question, and it's very, I think it's very interesting. It's a very interesting topic, and definitely one that we can dive into more in depth some other time, if we want to.
Yeah. I want to be a space warlord now.
I will add that to the list of topics for future episodes.
Yeah. I just can't decide whether or not it's that I want to take my army of enhanced humans and dominate the Earthers, or if I want to lead humanity in conquering the stars. And I haven't decided how we treat other species yet.
Wow. All right. Well, I think we should probably wrap this up.
I think we attack them.
Well,
with
while
kindness.
Roberto thinks about how he's going to handle his power, I think we should wrap this up.
All right, so last round here is what is your best version of the apocalypse then?
Are we saying best as in the best outcome or best as in
most
fun?
I'm sticking with
like, so we'll give you, I'll let you
owls.
each. You can have each. Like,
all right,
most
Audrey
fun,
will go first.
most fun, and then best outcome for the species.
Audrey's
Most
first.
fun, giant naked owls. Best outcome, giant naked owls.
Okay.
Wow.
Do you want to qualify that answer? Why?
Audrey's is sold on the naked owls.
Because I think you guys are underestimating how scary they are, especially if they would be 5 or 10 times big. So it'd be a real, they'd be smart too, not stupid. So it'd be a real fight, and I think people would maybe be nicer to each other afterwards.
So we just need something else to kill, and we'll stop killing each other.
Exactly.
And something that is a real fight, but not really
we're not. It's not
sufficient
a
enough to wipe
threat.
us out. It's not going to be enough to wipe us out, but it's enough to give us a good scare and get us our blood going and go, yay team, yay human.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's ideal situation.
Okay, I buy that. You've sold me. I get you. All right, Romina.
Okay, so most fun and best outcome. Let's see. I would say best outcome is some kind of plague or virus.
Easier to get back to normal.
Right.
Okay, I see.
And the technology and the science and advancement that might come from it because of research and all that stuff, right?
Got you. Better, stronger, healthier humans. I get you. Feel
right.
you.
more compassionate. Most fun is apes.
Really?
Yeah.
She just wants to live out her favorite movie.
I just want to see apes riding horses and
Okay.
waving guns around.
You can get that without the apocalypse, you know. You know you can get that without it going apocalyptic.
Well, how? Getting a chimp to ride a horse and giving him an AK-47? Like, no.
You can
there's
just do
like-
that for funsies.
I'm not going to do that. That sounds dangerous.
Get Logan Paul to do it.
Get Logan Paul on the horse or get Logan Paul to put the chimp on the horse?
Get Logan Paul to
he
set
would
this
do
prank
it for
up.
a vlog.
He would, yeah, he'd do it for the clout.
All right, I'm going
There'd
to
be
tweet
so
at
many
him.
good vlogs out of that.
I'm going to tweet at him tonight and I'm going to say, hey, will you do me a favor and put a chimp on a horse and give him a semi-automatic?
Yeah. Put rubber rounds in it. You know, you good. Like, okay. Most fun is an asteroid with some kind of countdown. Because, like, we do 2 weeks of YOLO.
Okay, no, you're right. I take it back. That's mine.
2 weeks
You
of
guys
YOLO.
are-
Like, 2
But with
weeks
some
of
chimps
YOLO.
running around.
2 weeks of YOLO.
my
Just
God.
like,
I don't understand how you guys would be YOLO. I'd be
See, at this point,
freaking out.
during all
we freak
this,
out for a day and then we resign ourselves. We go through all stages of grief in about 2 hours and then we're like, party it up.
and release
know
all
about
the
that.
apes.
I'm making flyers. I'm making
And
flyers.
I'm releasing all the animals.
I'm coordinating like all the clubs, all the world's DJs. I'm like getting like full on massive live streams going and everything like that. Like getting like everything.
Can
just
I be
like
a guest on the live stream?
Yeah, I'm just like it'd be like it'd be a nonstop 2 weeks YOLO. You just like and if it misses us, the party don't stop.
This is the point where you guys are gonna see wild animals just roaming the streets. I'm gonna release every single animal from every zoo. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna open the gates and they're just all gonna be running around.
Nice.
Like,
Someone's gonna
I'm
get
just-
eaten by a lion.
Uh-huh.
It'll be fine.
I'm just becoming a promoter
got
and like
two
it's
months
just
to
party
live
time.
anyways.
It's just like I'm just gonna become the
then
promoter
the
and hype man.
asteroid
It's
misses us.
it's
And
just
then the
party time.
asteroid hits.
It's just like it's party rock.
got
It's just
eaten
like
very
straight
good.
up party rock. It's like 20 like YOLO 24/7, 2 weeks countdown organized. We got Times Square. We got the ball dropping like 1 minute before Doomsday. We're
Oh
going
my
out.
God.
Human race is
That'd
going
be
out.
so stressful. I don't
Human race
understand
is
how
going
you guys
out.
would be so
Human race
excited.
is going
fun.
out.
I'd be there like
on a
digging
high
the
note.
deepest hole I could possibly make. Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, like we're going out on the highest note. We're going out like it's like y'all. We're just gonna party it up for like.
All
we're
right,
just
we
gonna-
haven't discussed one though. What about what's the best, most terrifying?
Well, let me finish also with the one that the best survival and the best
you
thing
can-
for the human race is alien invaders that we beat with the minimum amount of casualties required because we get all the tech out of it and we know that the galaxy is open to us and now we can reach our full potential and then we can set me up as Galactic Emperor. So we can do that.
Wow.
All right.
Or I can make I can probably build us a space defense ring and a space defense force that makes Earth off limits. It's like, yeah, you come to Earth, things come here to die, my friend. Like, welcome to die. Like, we put a giant space banner out. We put a giant space banner out at the edge of the galaxy that says, welcome to die. And we just, we let them know that this is, like, we savage down here. So we go, you know.
All right.
So,
I already know what Audrey's answer would be for most terrifying.
so most terrifying. Go. Let's
It's
go.
the giant owls.
No.
Oh.
ET invasion.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're real about we're on that.
Just
We're on that.
No.
Yes. I would. Okay.
It would
or
be so cute. You'd get your own little companion. You can hold his hand.
No, it's mind controlling her
No.
and siphoning her life force.
Or you know, what'd be even worse is The ones you talking about earlier from the movie Aliens, the ones that
Yeah.
like live.
Oh,
in
that was gonna be what I go with, the body horror.
Yeah, no, I don't really like that one.
Yeah, no.
That's worse.
No, that was my worst case.
All right. I guess most terrifying would be Invasion of the Body Snatchers, because it happens, it's already too late before you find out that it's happening.
Mm.
You know,
These
as
all have
far
the
as
same theme of being taken over.
Actually, I have another one that's horrifying, since you took my chest popper aliens. Like,
wow. He has to do that every time.
The Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, that very badly animated, but good for its time movie that they put out in theaters that everyone was mad about because it wasn't Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Yeah.
Basically, an asteroid hits Earth but doesn't kill a bunch of us. Or the problem is that it breaks something open in the Earth's core, and it basically you have the equivalent of Ghost. But the problem is, if they touch you, and they're invisible unless they're under a specific light spectrum, they're invisible. But if they touch you, you die. Like, so you have invisible death just floating in the air. You could just walk right into basically a death field, a roaming death field at any given time. And for years, people were like, what is happening? But then we developed the light spectrum that allows us to see them. And then we also developed some weapons that could disperse them. But it was this big, massive problem. And that's super terrifying, because in the book, because I read it as a book before it was a movie, there's a point where they're in an elevator and they're like, oh shit, what if a ghost, or they called them phantoms, what if a phantom is right under this elevator? So like, as they're going down the elevator, it occurred to them that, oh shit, they could go down the elevator and land right on top of a phantom and just instant death. And they're like holding their breath the whole time they're in the elevator, because that occurred, because oh fuck, we fucked up by getting in this elevator right now. You know, like, just knowing that a roaming death fields everywhere is, unless you have special glasses on to not walk into them, is so ridiculously anxiety inducing and terrifying that that's the worst version in terms of horrific things that I can think of. Just like, oh god, like, and imagine just being surrounded by these things. There's no talking, there's no reasoning. They're not even maliciously attacking you. They just exist. That's my worst version. That's just constant anxiety. When I read this book, I actually started like kind of having this paranoid what if, like, in my, like, I couldn't stop it for like a couple of days. Thankfully, by seeing the movie, it completely eradicated a lot of that, because the movie was so poorly animated that it eliminated the threat for me.
Nice. Maybe that was their goal. To make
to lull me
everyone
into
feel
a
better.
false sense of security.
I love how we've been talking about this the entire time and not run out of things.
It's an important issue. It's an important
Existential crisis. Yeah, it's
I mean, it's relevant.
Listen, the apocalypse is always relevant. Listen, you watch Planet of the Apes today. I'm not even kidding. Just watch.
And you'll be like, oh, this is happening.
No. I'm serious. Guys, after we get off of this call, go on YouTube and look up the first 10 minutes of Planet of the Apes. Just watch just watch the monologue. And I guarantee that you will say, wow, this is happening right now. This is today.
Great.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
relatable.
like facts. I'm like Caesar's on that good shit right now. Like, he's just like sitting there.
Oh yeah, Caesar's like, yep, this is the time. This is Game
It's
of
my
Thrones
time.
right here.
It's my time.
It's my time to take the throne.
It's my time.
All right, guys. I think we've had enough talk of apocalypse. But on a lighter note, who am I kidding? There is no lighter note.
Wondering who that was.
It's the end of the world. All right, guys. I think we're just about wrapping this up. Yeah. If Roberto's got an outro for us, maybe.
Let me think.
We gotta give him a couple seconds.
All right. Well, while Roberto's thinking about that, on a lighter note, we are just having fun here, And although all of us are sort of quasi-nihilists, maybe Audrey's like a little bit of like a quarter nihilist. She's not like totally,
What does that
she's
mean?
not quite at like Roberto and Romina level yet.
I think that I'm wildly optimistic about our prospects of conquering the galaxy.
Roberto, you're supposed to be thinking about the outro, not interjecting in the conversation. I'm buying time here.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of the universe, Romina almost got a concussion today from a solar system. From
Solar system?
I had like a solar system thing hanging above my desk up there, and literally,
You mean a planet?
Yes, like planets and stuff. But it's pretty heavy. It's made of wood. Like I made
Oh, the
it.
whole
Oh, it's a
thing
mobile. Oh, it's a mobile.
I made it like out of wood and styrofoam in school, and
Did the whole
yeah, it's a
thing
mobile.
fall on you?
yeah, and basically I've been here basically all day at my desk, and I went to eat lunch, and I walked back
Yeah.
up the stairs, and as I was walking to my desk to come sit down again, it fell literally where I sit all day, basically. And so I went down for lunch for like 20 minutes, and as I'm walking towards my desk, it fell. That was pretty incredible. It's never fallen before. So
the whole
I avoided
thing
a
fell
concussion.
as a unit, the entire thing.
Yeah, it just
So the
snaps,
solar
like the
system,
wire
you
just
said
snapped
solar
and it fell.
system.
Yeah.
You really meant solar system.
So
Well,
the odds
I
were in
mean,
my favor today.
Sure. I mean, it's a little Final Destination-y, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
It was really weird. The timing
I'll
was
let
like
it slide.
perfect.
But you know what that means.
What?
If you've seen Final Destination, then you know there is no escaping. That means something else. That means something else is going to happen.
Don't jinx me.
Don't look back, Audrey. The giant naked owls might be there standing. If you see a silhouette in the darkness of your room tonight,
Just
it looks like a vaguely familiar shape. Don't hoot at it.
I just troll it, just start hooting, just to make it upset.
Oh, but those little owls, like, they weren't scary. They're little baby owls. They were scared, and they didn't have a mom, and they were stuck in the attic. They didn't know what they were doing.
Guys, Google baby owls and tell me they're not scary. Like, people are like, aliens don't exist. Have you ever seen a naked baby or a naked owl? Those things are terrifying, dude.
All
like,
right, that's why you gotta watch
like
The Fourth Kind.
This is giving me my outro.
All right. Well, whenever you're ready, Roberto.
Thank you for listening to the No Assembly Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing but the doom of humanity anyway. Thank you for listening. Please download us wherever podcasts can be found, including Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, as well as Stitcher Radio, or your favorite app. Please leave us a review and a rating. This has been your panel of hosts, Romina, Defender of the Apes, and of course, Audrey Owlslayer Ember, and your future and present Dark Lord of the Interwebs and ruler of the galaxy at large, Roberto Blake. Thank you for listening to the No Assembly Required podcast. No audience members were harmed in the filming of this podcast via a live YouTube audience. Please like and subscribe to No Assembly Pod. NARP.